Hello everyone, welcome to the No Code Works podcast where we explore the no code world. I am Jyoti and today we have with us co-founder of Trinocode Technology Private Limited, Jyotika Tehlan. Trinocode is Asia's one of the largest no code agency. So thank you Jyotika for joining us. Can you tell us about Trinocodes and your journey in the no code space and what really inspired you guys to start an agency?
First of all, Jyoti, thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity. And talking about Trinocode, we started Trinocode long back in 2020. We started Trinocode with the belief that, every startup, every entrepreneur and businesses can start their businesses and make their idea come into reality without traditional coding. Or, the technology should not be a barrier that, they cannot launch their product. That is how we started Trinocode. And talking about myself, I personally come from a non-technical background and I had no education in technology and no experience. All my experience I have learned on the job, hands-on, be it design, development, operations, marketing, everything. And over a period of time, we have grown. And I can confidently say that, now we have a team that is expert in building no-code mobile and web applications and solutions without coding. And they can build scalable platforms. We primarily use no-code tools such as Bubble, VWeb, Framer, Flutterflow, etc. And I feel we have had the opportunity of developing projects across the globe that includes different industries such as edutech, fintech, CRM, marketplaces. And that's all about it. It's been a journey, and I think now we can say that we are not just into no-code space, but hybrid applications where you mix the coding and no-code aspects. We have built some amazing solutions for our clients. So that's the background and how we started.
That's really inspiring. That's very good. So just a quick question, when you say try no code, the name itself says, hey, come, let's try no code. So did you guys thought it through that the name should be like, try no code, or it just came naturally? Was it planned, or you guys gave it a lot of thought? What was it?
To be honest, we started working on no-code for our own internal project, and we never had any plans of, making it an agency or, building solution for other people. We always appreciated no-code and we understood the power of no-code, but there were no plans initially of building this as an agency. However, you said it right. It, came naturally because we started building on Bubble. We started with Bubble.io primarily, and then we realized that if we can build it for us, why can't we build it for the world? There are many entrepreneurs who has idea, but they don't know how to start, how to, reach out to developers, how the back end works, front end works. So that's how when we started building our own product, that's when we realized we can, help other people as well. That's how this name came into mind. No code, then why everybody should try no code. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So Jyotika, what do you think? What was the moment when you guys realized, that no code can actually change how businesses build the products?
So I would like to highlight a few facts here that, people usually say that no code is only for prototypes and it comes with its own set of limitations and all. But trust me, with our experience of past 5 years, I can confidently say that no code is not just for prototypes. It can build fully fledged scalable products. And when I say this, we have clients who are running like full businesses on no code. Obviously, over a period of time, you need to, put some money and take it to a higher plan. But no code is very powerful. And when you talk about the advantages of no code, or to start with, first thing is, if you have an idea, you want to obviously test the waters. You don't have budget at that point of time. There are no investors. So I think no code is a perfect way to start with. And the iterations are really fast. You don't have to debug the entire code and make changes. If you've launched your app in the market with very minimum basic 4 to 5 features that you are planning to pilot it out, you get some sort of feedback from people that this is good, this can be improved, this can be better, we want such features. So iterations are really fast. So I would say the speed is the key. It is very cost effective. If you go via traditional coding, you have to take up the storage, you have to take hosting, and there are so many things which a normal person who don't know technology won't understand, and it will be difficult for them to get in the market. So this is like an overall solution that you get with everything involved. So I would say the cost is the major factor. This is much cheaper as compared to the traditional coding because the speed is fast. Because you can go to the market ASAP. In a week, you can build a 5 to 6 feature product. Even in a 3 to 4 days, you can build. And the best part is you don't have to be dependent on a developer for it. There is so much of content available online, and you can learn it on your own. If even you don't want to pay a no-code developer, you can build and learn it on your own. So that is also there. So these are a few factors that we need to consider. In no way I'm saying that coding is not good, but no code is far better and best, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, and we see the world, really heading towards it. So Jyotika, talking about the client page, do you think that everyone know about no code, like what your client is basically based in Asia, Europe, and what are the things that clients come up with? They doubt about, is it something that they should go ahead with? And if they doubt, how you guys manage it? How you guys clear those doubts?
That's a good question, to be honest. These are the questions that we get asked very frequently. Every second client we speak to, obviously they come to us because they must have heard about no code somewhere on the web or internet, and that's why they reach out to us. But people are still skeptical, I would say, and they have their own set of questions that, how can I scale? What if, tomorrow I have X number of users? Then do I need to build from scratch on a coding platform? And what are the challenges? What if you guys are not available tomorrow? How do I make some changes? How do I deal with the platform on my own? And, obviously as an entrepreneur or a product owner, you have these questions, which are very valid and genuine questions. So that's where we, give them more information about the background of no code. And, there are people who say that, what if tomorrow Bubble shuts down? What happens to our app? What happens if the platform goes down for any reason? What happens to the apps that are built on it? Is there any dependency on that particular platform? So all these questions we get from clients, and, we try to show them the examples, the real world examples. As I just said a couple of minutes back, that you don't just build prototype, you build the full-fledged platform. And, there is no limitation to no code. Even if suppose there are clients who come and say that suppose my features are very complex and I doubt no code can provide a solution. So the solution which we give to them is that you don't have to completely rely on a no-code tool. There are plugins available. There are hybrid solutions. And suppose if you have a very complex requirement, then in that case, we can also do like front end can be a no-code. For example, you can use Flutterflow for the front end, but your backend can be Node.js or, a custom code solution that is available. So there are, mix and match solution available for everything. And to be honest, 80 to 90% of population or the clients don't have such complex requirements. Only, the very short window of 10 to 15% have that sort of complex requirements initially. And that's where we give such hybrid solutions of mixing no code with the custom code. So, yeah.
Those are, really valid questions of the clients, because at the end of the day, it's their product, it's their baby. Just a fun question. Like it happens, client comes up with weird ideas and you're not able to understand. And, sometimes you guys think that, what is it? What they're trying to build? So does it happen often?
It happens rarely, to be honest, but it does happen. And we have encountered with such clients where, they don't have a clear vision in their head, and but they want something to be built, so they're not able to express themselves better. So that is an advice I would like to give to the budding founders, that if you want to launch something, have a clear vision of what you want out of the platform, what you want to achieve by launching that product. How is your product solving a problem of a regular customer? So these are the questions that
Sorry, if such clients come, what do you guys do? Like how you help them?
We help them by our design services, by creating the journeys, because we understand that the client is not clear and they have some complexities in their head. That is where we try and understand and grab the information that he has to share, and then we put it together on a wireframes or a process, a journey, a user journey, and then we present it to the client. And that is where his vision, little horizon expands, and they understand that this can be done this way as well. They have a valid point here. What if this happens, that happens? So all those scenarios and situations, we try and present it to the client, because a client will just brief you. They don't have any there are some clients which don't have any documentation, anything written. They have it in their head and they just come on the meeting and give us very high level overview. Then it is our job to detail those features out, provide them the best possible solution that they're looking for. And obviously there's some level of back and forth where we have our certain opinions and client has their own opinions, and then we come to a mutual conclusion that is we agree upon, and then we proceed for the high fidelity designs and the development. So design is I feel that design is really critical before you start the development, because it sets the foundation right, that what exactly, and the expectations are mutual. We are on the same page that ways.
That's some really great insight. So sometimes, in your journey in Trinocode's career, have you ever faced something, and have you ever done something which seems impossible, but you made it possible? Like any feature that was not possible via no code, or you guys haven't done that before, but you did it. Does these things happen?
Yeah, they do happen a lot. It used to happen a lot in the past when we were fairly new. We had like a small set of team. People were trained in-house. We did not hire the professionals from outside. We hired fresh graduates and we trained them in-house. So they had, limited exposure to complex functionalities. And when clients used to come with complex functionalities, we used to think that, how that can be achieved, because we have never done that in the past. But we used to take that as a challenge and used to do some research around it. Obviously, I'm talking about 2020 when AI was not a big thing. Now, you have AI facilities available. But at that time, we used to do our own research, and people like the team used to spend good amount of time in understanding, trying, and hit and trial methods. So that is where we have achieved most of the functionalities. If you talk about, we had this one project where we had to integrate the POS system, Shopify, etc., and we had never done that using third-party APIs, and that was something new. But when we finally completed it, we were so proud of ourselves, to be honest, because with the no-code tool, we were able to achieve that. That was a big achievement. And second, even client didn't believe that it could be done on no-code. That is where he wanted to shift to code because of this particular functionality. And when we did it in no-code, it was like a good feeling for us. And then many such situations came, and we faced a similar experience that some R&D, and we were there. And now, if you ask me, whenever any complex situations come, we are very confident because we have done majority of things now. However, if still something new comes up that we haven't ever done, then I think nowadays AI is really helpful. We get a little help. There's a lot of documentation and research available. So the things have become much easier now. But yeah, that was also a time where we did all that.
But there's always a way, if the developers are good, you find a way. And speaking of developers, and you talked about you had fresh graduates and then you trained them. Is it because still people don't know somewhere that no code, and still they're hesitant because everyone is so into coding from the starting? Is it difficult to find developers who know no code, or was it difficult now it has become easy?
So to answer your question, I would say that when we started, people didn't know about Bubble much, or Flutterflow, or Framer is like a recent technology. So these technologies were not too famous that time. Now they are, but it was a difficult job finding experienced no-code developer back then. However, now I think it's very easy, and even like on no code work, there's a community of people who are working on no code. So there are a lot of people now. People have trained themselves. There are so many people who have learned on their own from the online content available, be it YouTube, be it online courses on Coursera, etc. So nowadays it is not as challenging finding a no code developer as it was earlier. So the things are better now, I would say.
Okay. And do you guys in-house train them also? It's a journey.
Yeah, we train them in-house, and even now we hire fresh graduates. Obviously, for few requirements and few positions, we hire people who are trained and experienced. But we have this program of trainees that we do every 6 months, where we hire fresh graduates from college, and we train them in-house on different technologies. We see where their interest is, whether a person is more interested in the front end. Obviously, that is called cream of the cake because it's easy. So we see whether they are more interested in building the designs and the front end, or they are more interested in the logic and back end stuff. So depending upon their interest, we hire people.
Okay, that's great. So Jyotika, we talked about no code, we talked about AI, and then there is vibe coding, which is kind of a mixture of both. Like, what do you see? What's the future? How the future is going to evolve around vibe coding, AI, no code, and all that?
I feel vibe coding is a very Gen Z thing now, because people feel that they can just they don't have to do the boring part. That is the code part. AI does it all for you, and you just have to simply copy paste that. But I still feel that there is a scope or a room for improvement in that, because if you have to have some sort of knowledge of the code, right? Because otherwise, if you have to make any fix, and you have to be smart enough to give what prompts you need to give to the AI, right? Because if you don't know any coding or any knowledge about it, and you just write down a random prompt, there are chances that it will not be perfect, and then you will have to debug a lot. And so I feel vibe coding is a boon and a bane both, because obviously the work is much faster. You don't have to do the laborious work on your own. The code is written and everything, but you have to be cautious and careful. If something goes wrong, then the entire thing goes for a toss, and you have to spend good amount of days and debugging and fixing it. So I'm quite neutral on vibe coding, I would say. Not too much in favor as well.
Okay, it's fine. If someone wants to build an application, right, an MVP kind of a thing, what is the average timeline that you guys think, and you guys give them that it will be ready in so and so time? Because no code is all about how fast it is. So is it really that fast?
Yes, it is. Also, it depends upon the features that you're looking for. And if you want to launch a very basic app, for example, with a registration form, onboarding, suppose a social media where you just upload your profile, your post things, and an application like that can be made in 3 to 4 days easily with a very basic structure. And if the basic UI, obviously you don't have to make like a fancy thing, so it can be made in a week, I would say, even with a little complex functionalities. So no code is that fast. And it also depends upon what tool you are using. For example, if you are using everything inbuilt, like Bubble, it has its own database, it has its own workflows, front end, everything. So in that, it requires less time. Whereas if you prefer using technologies like Flutterflow, Firebase, or for backend you are using Node, then for those things you have to set up the environment first, and it's a little low code side, so the time frame is a little more than what it is in completely no code. If you have to build like a website with nice animations and all on Framer, that is like a couple of hours job, I would say. In 3 to 4 hours your website is ready, it is ready to go live, nice landing page on Framer. So it totally depends upon the requirement, but I would say as compared to the traditional coding, no code is 10 times faster, I would say.
We talk about how fast it is, but people always question about the scalability of the product, how much user base one product can handle. So do you think there is some mismanagement in that term?
Yes, I think because people do need to understand that with the evolution of technology, even the no-code tools have evolved. What Bubble.io is today, it was not 10 years before. In 2015, Bubble was very simple, basic platform used to make basic applications. But like they have also received a good amount of investment and funding over a period of time, and they are improving their product day by day. Recently, they have launched the beta mobile application stuff, and which is pretty great. And this is building the confidence on such tools. You can take example of Flutterflow as well. They have scaled massively, and rapidly they have scaled. So if you talk about the scalability of a product, earlier I would have said that it's difficult to scale large size products on no code because there is a limitation. But now in 2025, as we speak, there is no product that cannot be scaled on no code. You have to be on the right plan. See, if you have suppose 50,000 users on your platform, so the speed of the platform should be good enough. So you have to be on the right plan that can sustain that number of users. So obviously, if you have that number of users, you are getting some revenue from somewhere, and then you're putting some amount of that revenue in the business. So that is where you can get the plan, and you can definitely scale your product. There are also some custom plans available for these no-code platforms, which are for very big companies, which has users in thousands or millions even, and they provide custom costing for those after discussing things on a call. So I don't see scalability as an issue at all on no-code platforms, and mixing it with a hybrid solution, there is no saying that it cannot be scalable. It can definitely be scalable.
But it's still cheaper, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's great. So Jyotika will ask you some rapid fire questions. Okay, it's just 3-4 questions just to understand what comes in your mind first. So we can start.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, what's your favorite no-code tool?
I'll be biased here, Bubbles.
Okay, first no-code app you ever built?
Pre-eligibility. It was a loan eligibility calculation platform.
Okay. Best no-code tool for creating amazing designs?
Designs, I would say Framer. It has got really cool animations.
Best no-code tool for creating apps, mobile apps?
Flutterflow. It's really good for apps.
Okay, if you have just one word to describe no-code, what would you choose?
Okay, so the next greatest big thing. It's not one word, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Powerful. One word will be powerful. No code is powerful.
Okay. And if you weren't in no code, what would you be?
If I weren't in no code, if no code didn't exist, I would have done the boring, laborious coding job.
Okay.
So yeah.
And so,
I want to stay in IT space. I am not that creative that I would say I would be an artist or so.
Okay, you want to just stick to corporate tech only, right? You will not be switching.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's who you are. Beauty with brains. So into one last question. If someone wants to start their career in no code, right? What is the one piece of advice that you would like to give them?
I would like to say, just start. Don't wait for that I should learn first X amount of tools, then I'll call myself a no-code developer, or I should have some idea. Just start. Whatever you have in mind, start building it. Even if you don't know anything, there are so many videos available. As I mentioned, courses, content, everything is available. So you just need to create your account and start.
Okay, and they don't need to do any courses.
As I mentioned, a lot of free content is available that they can see to get reference from, but they don't have to take any formal education for that. It's very easy. They can learn it in a couple of hours on their own.
Okay. Thank you.
And it might affect some developers, like the coders, but I want to say it loud here that no code is not replacing traditional coding. It is in fact helping, and the entrepreneur space has evolved a lot because of this no code tool. And as I said, no code is really powerful, and people can now pilot their ideas in the market. They don't have to be reluctant, and technology will not be a barrier for such people. So I think that's a great thing here to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you are someone who want to test an idea, if you don't have money, usually entrepreneurs wait for money, investment, and it's very difficult to find an investment. So you just wait, but instead you can just try your idea in the market and see what is the traffic that you are getting in, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a wrap for today, guys. Thank you, Jyotika and Trinocode team for joining us. If you like this conversation, please follow and subscribe us, and we will come up with the next guest next time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.